Okay.
I'm in a good mindset, but like,
That's
really?
good. And I feel like, okay, welcome to tonight's team call, recording people, everybody who's on. But I feel like this happens. This is something that one thing that I feel like I tell my clients and new coaches, and I don't know if you guys have seen this happen, but when something happens, like you set a new goal or you hit a new rank or you decide you're going to do something, then life throws things at you like my computer crashes, my car blows up, all my kids get sick, I get sick, I lose my job, I have to work way overtime. Like life throws these things at you, and it's like almost, I don't want to say it's testing you, but it's almost like life is being like, do you still want those things? Like, are you still going to make those goals you had like a priority and like stick to them? And whether it's like you guys decide like, okay, I'm going to work my business an hour a day. You decide that. You decide when you're going to work your business, and then you have to stay late at work, or your kids get sick, or what other things happen? You get sick, or your husband gets sick, or your dog gets sick, whatever, like all these things start happening. And it's like, you could definitely take that as, oh, I shouldn't be working my business, or now I'm too busy to work my business. But it's like, that's when life, I feel like that's when life is kind of like testing you, like, how bad do you really want that goal that you set? Or how bad do you really want to work your business to reach whatever? So it's funny that, because I feel like I have clients that happens to all the time, where they're like, they order their
Oh
chicken
yeah.
back and then you don't hear from them. And then they're like, oh, sorry, I got really sick with whatever, or my kid got sick, or it's been really busy at work. And it's like, okay, but you said this, like, at least like let me know that, so I can be like, that's gonna happen, because that's how life works. Right? It's like, I'm gonna do this big goal and I'm gonna achieve this big thing, and then it's like everything like just kind of like falls in front of you,
Oh
and you're like,
yeah.
oh crap, okay, how bad do I really want that? So it's funny that happened, because it's like you hit diamond and then it's like those things happen, and it's like,
Boom, just it rained. And it literally, like, it happened. I never work Saturdays and Sundays. So the computer thing was like, it can wait. It'll be fine. But like today I was like, nothing's gonna stop me. I don't care. I used Dale's computer. I fired up the old dinosaur. Like, it's not gonna stop me.
and it's awesome because we can do so much from our phone. Like today I rocked Grayson for like a half an hour after he woke up in the middle of a nap with like a nightmare. And I remembered to take my phone in there, which normally I don't take my phone in for nap time. And so he like napped on me for like a half an hour, and I worked on my phone, and I was like, man, when he was a baby, like even 3 years ago, like the technology on our phones, like we couldn't do like basically like posting. I don't even think you could do like DMs on Instagram or anything. Like I think that kind of stuff you had to do on your computer. And it
Yep.
was just like, there was like, even then, and I was just thinking about like how I had to lug my computer around anywhere if I wanted to work with him on my chest, and how I could do that in his room while he napped. I could like answer messages and stuff like that while he was just napping. And it's crazy because it's like, I feel like this business, you can work literally in the cracks of your day if you choose to make it a priority to work it in the cracks
Oh
of your day.
yeah.
It's so crazy.
It is doable. Like, that's literally how I've been able to do this business. Like, I do it in between the cracks. Like, between waking up, getting the kids off to the bus, having the little one, and then having to run to town. Like, everything. I do everything in between cracks.
Hmm. And I honestly think, and I read this, I don't know if I read this somewhere or I listened to this somewhere, but like if we can't make, if we don't make our, or we can't make our business, I'm going to butcher the quote, but bear with me. If we can't make our business work when we're busy, we won't make it work when we have all the time in the world. Right? Because I feel like, I know for me, when I was like, well, right now too, like, I wouldn't say I'm super busy, but like when Grayson's awake and it's just me and him, like that's my mom time. It's not really like work time. So it's like, that's my full-time job there. So it's like my nap time is like work time. And I know like it was the same thing when I was working and going to school and doing all the things that a 22-year-old does, like I had an hour a day, and that was my hour a day to work the business. And if I didn't do it, it was like, I either have to get up early or stay up later, So it's just like, it's not about having more time. It's about like figuring out what's a priority. Yep. And making
time. Because every time I hear someone say, oh, I don't have time, I work too much. Like literally I had a girl buy her friend a Beachbody.
Like a challenge pack. Something.
Almost. She bought her friend Beachbody on demand. And I got a hold of her and I was like, oh my God, so exciting and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, yeah, I don't have time for that. I work from home and I have a little one. And I was like, what? Did you really just say that to me?
Right.
And I was like, yeah, well, you've got it in case you ever need it. And it just blows my mind. I lost train of thought.
I know, but I think it's just good because it's like something that you can, and not saying that this is happening to you, but like in general, like if you feel like that's an excuse or an objection you're getting, and this can go back to like talking about objections, but like if you feel like you're getting that objection a lot, like, oh, I don't have time, I can't join you, like you almost have to check yourself. Like, are you using that excuse? And I'm not saying you are, Jen, but just in general, like,
yep.
Are you using that excuse? And it comes to money too. Like, oh, if people are saying, you know, like I don't have the money or that's too expensive or whatever, it's like sometimes we have to check ourselves and see like, okay, am I using that as an objection in my own life to not work my business or to not show up in this way or something like that? Because sometimes it's like we mirror what we get. We get what we mirror? We attract what we're thinking. You know, does that make sense? Like it's that attraction kind of. So
you attract what you put out.
Right. Right. I wonder where I got the mirror part. But basically, yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, so tonight I kind of wanted to do a Q&A if anyone has questions, but I also wanted to talk about April business hours, and I wanted to go through your guys's when you're going to do your business hours this week. I haven't done this in a long time where I actually sat down and was like, okay, here's when I'm working my business. You know, I just kind of like during nap time, during whatever. And then talk about April goals and kind of making a game plan on like, okay, if you say this is your goal, how are you going to do it? Or like what your game plan is for that. And then we also will do a info group on April 10th. And I haven't decided yet how I want to do it, but I think I want to do a giveaway, and maybe that will keep like engagement going in the sneak peek groups. Cause I know I feel like the last couple sneak peek groups have really been just like blah, besides like us coaches talking in there, which is fine, but it's like,
you know what I love to do to like get more engagement is get a bundle of like really cute things. You know how we send out gifts for when people hit emerald and diamond, kind of something like that, and just say add 3 of your friends who you think would be or who you think would want to see something like this to enter a chance into winning the bundle.
Right.
That always gets me more people, more and more and more.
That's a good idea. And I wonder,
you gotta make sure it's good stuff.
Right. And we could even put like, not even say we're going to put samples in there, but we could sneak in like samples of Energize or a sample of like Shakeology and a Beach Bar. And I wonder, did any of you guys do, Jen, I think you were in that, but a while ago, it was last year sometime, we did like a rapid fire info group in like an hour, and we all just like every 10 minutes somebody popped in.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Talked about a topic or shared their story or something like that. And the energy I feel like was like super high because it was like constantly like short videos, but people were popping in like every 10 minutes. So it was like they were hearing from like somebody new, and it was quick, and it wasn't like a dragged out like 2 or 3 day thing. Because sometimes I feel like when they're drug out like that, they lose they lose energy if it's only like
they lose the momentum. Yeah.
So maybe we could try something like that for whoever wants to. And I'll put it in the like Freedom Tribe too for whoever wants to like jump in and do that. But we could do something where like, depending on who wants to do it, we all just jump in and do like a video of a topic or an objection even, or something.
Yeah.
Different
There's so many top coaches right now that are doing sneak peeks, and I just want to see what they're doing.
like on the inside.
Yes, because like literally I've seen 5 people comment on their post and say, "Oh my God, it was life-changing. I just got done with it. I'm totally joining." And it's like, what are they saying?
Right. So I wonder, okay, let's think about this though. Like when it comes to, like when you think back before we joined, or before you guys joined, like what were the things you wanted to learn about, or like what were the things that like really excited you about the coaching opportunity? Because I feel like when we talk about just like how we get paid or the commission, like that's not like that's like the nitty gritty. It's not really exciting. So what if we like talked about like we instilled that hope in them that like they can do it, and we show like how simple it is with like basically kind of what we've been talking about, like committing to yourself, sharing your story, and inviting other people, and keeping it super simple, and really like sharing results and like stories. I feel like that's what really gets people like, oh my gosh, if they could do it, like they have the same life that I have, or they're working a full-time job and doing this, and kind of like being able to like share where we're at and how we're making time for the business and like health and fitness, so they can like relate to it versus just being like, okay, here's what we do, here's how we make money, here's how to get started, because like those kind of things we can be talking to, I feel like to them about in like your messaging.
Yeah.
So maybe that might be a little bit more exciting than just talking about those 3 topics. I don't know. Anyone have any other ideas about? I'm gonna write that down. Kind of.
I think talking about some of the fun stuff that are treat. I mean, I've never gotten to go on a Success Club trip, but I always look at it like that's awesome. You're being compensated by a company, and you're also being rewarded for these trips. And like for some people, they would never go on a trip to the Caribbean. And I mean, you could definitely make that like a little snippet of it at least.
Right. And maybe talking more about like earning trips and the community aspect of it versus
talk about the parties for Elite and Premier. Like, I mean, you don't have to go into like the super details of it, but that's some glamorous stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know. Some people might be more attracted to that than even like earning income.
Right.
Recognition means a lot more to a lot of people.
Right.
And walking across the stage and being treated like royalty, like, getting your name on a billboard in New Orleans, like that stuff's kind of important to some people.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, the coaches. I follow quite a few, but literally since they got back from the cruise, it's just all been pictures of the entire cruise, and telling people, if you want to get in on this, do it now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they got back on Friday or something like that. And yeah, every single day, it's been pictures nonstop.
And that's why I think it's so important to earn those trips and to get to not just trips, but to get to events and get to like Summit and even like the little super Saturdays, because you can be sharing about like the pictures you're taking and the energy, because your energy shifts once you like, and if you like, I think Allie, you haven't been to an event yet, but these two know, like when you're around like-minded people and feel that energy, it's like you get home and you're like in this bubble of just like
fire.
Yeah, like I don't even know how to
fire the world because I'm gonna conquer it.
Right. Yeah. And even just from like Super Saturdays and like it's just something about like getting out and being like in a like actually feeling like you're a part of a community, because sometimes I feel like when you're doing this business at home online, you don't feel like you're a part of a community. But once you get to like some type of event and you see like, holy crap, there's all these people that are doing this too, all different sizes, all different ages, all different colors, all different races, all different languages. Like, it's just cool to see that, like, if she can do it and sharing her story, then I can totally do it. And like, it's, I don't know, it's just something to be said about like the event.
Going to an event is important. Is important because when I go to Super Saturday, I walk into where we're having it and literally I just ease right into it because you're surrounded by people who get you. And oh my God, I love that feeling.
I know. It's awesome. Which reminds me, I don't know if you guys, Jen, I know you're going to the one down in the cities. Allie, there's one down in the cities that some of us are going to. Jen, other Jen.
Oh, there's a huge one in Tampa.
Is that where you're going?
Yeah.
Ooh, that should be a good one.
Good.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Okay, so let's talk goals first. April goals. March is over. How did your guys' March go? What do you want to, like, what do you feel like you could have worked on, and then what went really well for you personally? And it doesn't even have to be anything like, oh, I went diamond. It could have been something like I stayed consistent and worked my business every single day, or I stayed consistent with like doing my workout and sharing my journey every day, depending on like where you're at in your like your own business. I can start. I feel like March, I'm trying to like think about what even happened in March.
It was so like yesterday.
I know. Besides mentoring a new diamond coach, I think that's the biggest thing that happened this month. Like,
yes.
Because I was thinking like, even though Jen, you did all the work, but I was like, dang, I haven't had like a new diamond coach pop in a really long time. Like I've had previous coaches like drop diamond and then get their diamond back. So to have a new one, I was like, that is exactly like what I personally needed for like my own leadership, to be like, okay, like we're doing something right? Even though you did all the work, but it's like, I also needed that little bit of like leadership boost. So it was like, like nothing. It's
literally, it's good. It's good for anybody, especially like for people that are just finding out who I am on our team. Like, if I can do this, you can do this too. Because literally going from like zero motivation, lack of effort in life, period, like did a 180 in life, and
that was just back in November. Not even like,
oh yeah,
ended November, December. So it's not like
I started working out December 1st, and I told myself that I had to finish Lift 4 before I even started coaching. February 1st, I hit the ground running, and I said, there's no stopping. I had every intention on hitting diamond in February, and then I didn't realize how the legs worked and how Ruby worked, and yeah. So it screwed me up, and I was like, you know what? That's fine. I've got plenty of time. I will do this next month. So.
And it was just that like super, it was a mindset shift. It was just like, I can do this and I'm doing this now instead of like waiting. But also I like that, like what you said, because I feel like this is how you've been like, and this is like for you guys too who are watching the recording, but like if you haven't committed to your own journey and like a program, it's going to be really hard to like build your business. So like, it was really cool that you were like, I'm committing to Lift 4 and I'm not coaching until I'm done with Lift 4. You know, like I definitely think you can do both, but I think like for you, maybe that's just where you were mentally, where you're like, I need to commit to this first and finish this and then do the coaching on top of like your workout still. But I think that just goes to show that like, if we're not doing our own health and fitness and committing to something,
Yeah.
It's hard to get other people to want to commit to it with you. And sharing that, because I mean, you were sharing a lot of it. You were like sharing a lot of it before you were even coaching, like real coaching. So people were like already seeing what you were doing.
Yeah, I wanted people to see what it was in the beginning. As hard and as hard as it was to post in the beginning, I told myself that you need to be present, you have to be consistent, and if you can stay consistent in posting while you're doing workout before you start coaching, there's no possible reason why you can't do this. And for me, I had a ton of postpartum problems last year. So that's why I told myself you weren't allowed to help someone unless you can help yourself first. Mm-hmm. You can't pour from an empty cup. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I had to fill my cup first. Mm-hmm. And because I was so overweight and upset with myself, I had to take care of that first.
Right.
Like, you can't be upset with yourself and expect someone else to be like, help me.
Right.
So,
right. But yeah. I think that's something good to remember for like coaches we have come on that are like, I just really want to focus on myself. Because I know me in the past, like I would be like, okay, well, let's try and do it all. Right? action, more action, all of it at one time. But like, it's a good reminder to be like, okay, you really want to focus on yourself. Let's do this program, the one they want to do. Let's commit to it, share about it, and not really do the coaching part of it until you've committed to that program. And knowing that like those two things right there are already building momentum in their business for when they actually decide to like jump in and be like, okay, I have this energy, or I have this like confident boost because I've been committing to this program and I've gotten results and I've been sharing about it and I finished it. Like that right there is a confidence boost for them to like actually jump in and work the business. And it goes a lot faster, I feel like, than maybe somebody who's trying to like do it all and spread thin and not seeing results anywhere, right? And then they hit that like, I can't do this, I quit, this is too hard. So I don't know where we got into that from like April goals, but we did apparently need to do
You were super happy that you got a new diamond.
Oh, yeah. And then that rolled into like whatever. That I know for me, what I need to work on, I think, is staying consistent when I like create a month plan. And like making sure I'm like inviting every day to something, I think for me, whether it's like, okay, this week, like I'm this next like week and a half, I'll be inviting to like our sneak peek group and then being like, okay, shift gears and invite to like whatever's coming up and really making sure I'm like staying in my own lane. I've had to like unfollow a lot of coaches because in the past I've gotten really like, oh, I want to see what Jamie's doing, or, oh, I want to see what like Andrea's doing, or I want to see what like Micah's doing or Raina's doing, and like I start seeing what they're doing on their stories and I'm like, oh, I should post about that, even though it has nothing, like it's not even in line with what my plan was for my business. And I see somebody else posting about it, I'm like, oh, I should post about a challenge group, but I don't have one coming up. But then I would post, you know, so like really just making sure I'm like staying in my own lane and staying like true to my schedule for my like business for the month is where I struggle, which is going to be my focus this month. So my goals for this month are help sign up 5 new ladies as coaches. I haven't set an income goal for the month for a really, really long time. So this kind of makes me want to throw up a little bit, but make $6,000 this month really makes me want to throw up. And then
hashtag let's puke together.
Yeah, right. And then hit 1-star qualifying in my second CBC and 4-star in my first business center. So those are some, for me, goals that make me want to throw up a little bit, but it's good because it pushes me out of my comfort zone. So who's next? What did I say? What you did, like what you're proud of and what your like not struggle was, but what you want to work on this month, and then your goals.
Oh,
I can go next.
Okay.
Oh, Jen, you can go.
Yeah, no, go ahead, hon.
I am most proud because I usually get burned out about being excited about the burned out's not the right word, but I forget how excited I am about the coaching opportunity, and I forget all of the things that I like want to accomplish, and I like don't stay in my own lane. I like, veer off, and now I'm not thinking about Beachbody. I'm not focused on it. I'm not like, that's not where my mind is perpetuating my, actions. So like, this is the first time that I have gone for more than a couple of weeks of having this fire. And what I'm really most excited about, is that I finished this book.
Good job.
I can't remember the last time that I finished personal development. I literally just get bored or tired or uninterested and put it down.
Right.
Like, there are a couple of books that I have that I've never finished. So I'm excited to go back through it and I've started doing like the actual homework. So yeah, so that's what I'm most happy about for last month. I did not make my income goal. I didn't actually go back and look. I don't think I made my income goal.
Go back and look so you can see where you're at.
But I wasn't sure if I was going to count this week or not, but doesn't matter. Let's splitting hairs really. So, but I know that I can be more consistent in sharing the business. I don't have, I kind of get like hung up on, well, I don't have that many challengers, so maybe I should just focus on that. And then not share like the gift that Beachbody actually is. So that's what I want to focus on for next month.
Good. You can use this next week and a half to really like focus on that, because then you can be invited to the sneak peek group.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, it's nice to, I feel like, to have a focus to invite to something, so that will help that we're doing that. And then what are your goals for April? I should write everybody's down so I know.
I was gonna say I haven't written them down yet.
Okay, let's go through.
I want to add 3 coaches to my team. And I want to exceed the income goal that I made for last month. So
figure out what that income goal is, so or like figure out what you made in March, so you know what to exceed, right?
Yes.
Okay. So increase. Okay. Good deal. Okay, who wants to go next?
Hallie, go.
Oh, you're muted. Hold on.
Muted.
Hold on. Oh, I can't unmute you. Oh, there you go. I was like, why isn't it letting me mute? You're good.
Okay. I guess I'm proud of myself for being consistent on Transform 20.
Good.
And I've been like posting stuff on my story, but sometimes I don't know if I'm posting enough or not.
I think that all comes down to like your own personal preference. If you're at least posting every single day about your journey, you can decide how much you want to be posting about your journey. But as long as you're doing it every single day, or even go back to print this off and go back and like go through these things, because on the Success Club system tracker, it says update your IG story throughout the day, and it gives you like different ideas, like daily life, workout clips, product use. So like when you're making your Shakeology or your Energize, healthy meals or meal prep. You can do like invitation or promote a group or a call to action, or like a recognition type shout out post. So you could kind of go through there, and it even gives you like little check marks to go through to be like, oh, did I share about my daily life today? Did I share about my workout clips? Did I share about this stuff? So that might help just give you some ideas of like, okay, did I share enough on my stories or like posting?
Yeah, I need to really print that off.
Yeah. Print that off. That will help for sure.
And then I think I just need to like post more stuff on my Facebook and Instagram, like actual posts, not just all on my story, because I don't think, well, of course not everybody sees your story.
Right.
Your stories.
Right. And I think figuring out, and I know there's a lot of like social media trends that you can YouTube. I think the biggest thing for like anybody is to like figure out what are like 5 topics you want to post about and post about those. And not saying you have to post 5 times a day, but like rotate through those. So for me, for example, it's my family, and under family is like toddler mom, wife life, pregnancy, like that's kind of like an umbrella to that. And then fitness is a big part of my life, and that was a part of my life before I even became a coach. So for like people who are watching the recording who are like, fitness is not my jam, but I do it because I feel good, like don't feel like you have to be like a fitness guru, right? My faith, which I know personally I need to share more about. Food, because I love food, hashtag not healthy food, I like to share about, because I feel like that gets the most. That always gets the most. Or even just like, oh, I made a really bomb salad and I share about it, and I always get people who ask like, what's in there, what's the recipe? And I'm like, you guys, I just literally throw a bunch of stuff that I have in a bowl and eat it. And then like that's pretty much like the things that I post about, because those are like things in my life. So sitting down, Allie, and like figuring out like what are 4 or 5 things that like topics that you can post about that literally are you in your life right now. Like you're planning a wedding, wedding planning, anything like engaging questions, asking about like, what did you guys do for X, Y, and Z for your wedding? Or like when you're talking about your workouts, posting like sweating for the wedding, and like letting people know that like your wedding is coming up, and like asking engaging questions and stuff like that. And then like whatever else you feel like are things that are you. I feel like sometimes like mine aren't super weird, but sometimes I feel like the weirder topics you have, the like more people are like, oh, this girl is cool, I don't have really weird topics, but I guess being pregnant is kind of unique. So not everybody can share about pregnancy. I don't know if that helps at all. Long-winded answer. Okay. So you want to work on just consistently posting more.
Yeah.
And then what are your goals for April?
I want to host a challenge group, because I haven't done that yet.
Okay. Host challenge group. And then
And like, huh?
I'm gonna mute you, Jen. Go ahead. Host a challenge group and what?
I'm trying to. I had a brain fart. I can't think of it at the moment.
Okay, well, when you think of what it is, post it in our little group thread.
Okay.
So with hosting a challenge group, I would like sit down and figure out when you're gonna host it. Like, when are you gonna start it? What are you gonna have it be of? And then start really like sharing about it.
I think I really want to do the Transform 20 over again.
Okay.
Because like honestly, people I'm talking to, they want something short.
Right.
And I think now that it's on the bod, they'd be more willing to pay $100 and versus challenge pack, because I'm having that problem. The people are not liking the cost of the challenge pack and all that stuff.
Right. So that goes back to, do you believe the value of a challenge pack is worth it? And like, do you have not belief, but do you believe it's worth the value? Because I think that's when like we feel like we're struggling with like an objection. It's usually something we're struggling with in here. And it's probably the Shakeology part. I'm assuming that people have the biggest
Yeah.
issue with. So I think like with that, like, I don't know, and the gens can give like what they do with Shakeology.
Or like they've done like Herbalife or like It Works and stuff like that, and they're just like, well, I don't want any of that. And that's kind of that's what I'm running into a lot of.
So here's my thing with that. if those are the objections you're getting, start sharing about why, like, start sharing about why you love this stuff, like why you love Beachbody On Demand, why you love Shakeology or Energizer, whatever, and adding value there versus, like, obviously not being like, I love Shakeology better than Herbalife because blah, 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 blah. Like, that's not good. But, like, sharing, like, what it's doing for you and why you've stuck with it so far, right? And I think that's the biggest thing. Because if there are people who have tried it in the past and they haven't stuck with it, like, obviously there's a reason why they didn't stick with it. So, like, I think for you, that can be a huge part of your story. And, like, even posts about being like, you know, I don't know if you've tried any of those things in the past, but saying that, like, you've tried these things in the past, and, like, here's what you found and here's why you're loving what you're doing now and why you've been sticking to it. Because that's huge for you, like, just being able to stay that you've stuck through how many weeks of Turbo Fire and now Transform 20. Like, that's huge for you to say. So definitely sharing, like, that part of it. I don't know if you two have anything other to say about how you get through, like, Shakeology objections.
Muted.
Got it. Both of you unmute. You're both like, oh yeah, I got something to say.
When I have people tell me that they don't want to do Shakeology because they've already done Herbalife or It Works, or there's a couple more, they've done protein shakes from Walmart, and it's like, we're going to time out here because this is not a protein shake. There's protein in it, but this is not a protein shake. This is either breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. You can use it as a meal replacement. Like, this stuff is life-changing, and usually that's where I show them a transformation picture with just shakes. And that is a huge thing. Like, you need to show them a transformation of somebody's. Right. Usually you can find people's transformations off the Beachbody site, off our team pages, anywhere, just as long as they can see that there's proof. And I definitely come back to the, if you can't handle within your first 30 days, return it and we'll never talk about it again.
Right.
And then they're usually like, oh, like, you're serious.
I think too, talking about the transformation thing, like, one thing I've learned in this Bob Heilig training I'm learning is talking less. So, like, if somebody's saying, like, oh, I don't want to do Shakeology, like, I would ask why. And if they say something like that, I'd be like, okay, well, can I send you a video of, like, how Shakeology is different? And use the Shakeology. I put a thing in our Learn. I think there's one in the Learn tab in the, like, description, like, sharing a video of, like, what Shakeology is. Share that with them because there's transformations in there. There's why, like, what Shakeology is, why it's not a protein shake, and sharing that with them. Sometimes people just need to, like, see it from somebody else versus, like, us being, like, saying all the things. So definitely, like, use our third-party tools to share stuff too. Other Jen?
I've been taking Shakeology for 5 years now, and I have never stuck to anything that long. So, like, my personal experience with it is that I no longer rely on the sweet treat in the evening, and if I do need one, I drink Shakeology again. Right. Like, I'm about to go make it like a vanilla peanut butter something awesome just because. But I mean, that's just my personal experience. So, like, I don't really have a hard time sharing the benefits of it. I mean, we can talk about poop all day. I mean, like, regularity, we can talk about all that stuff, but I love just being able to share, you know, someone else's, like Jen, you were saying, that just a transformation from someone who can't exercise, you know, someone who's literally just adding Shakeology and balanced nutrition to their diet, and it's changing their life.
Right.
And you know, at the end of the day, it's $40, $50 more.
Right.
And the 30-day money back guarantee is, like, no one else is offering that.
Right.
Empty bag guarantee.
Exactly.
Yep.
We
so
do not have contracts.
Right. I think too, it's making sure that, like, and this goes not just for you, Allie, but, like, people who are watching, the recording too, like if you're getting objections on something, and this goes back to just like committing to your own journey, like if you're getting objections on some type of product, whether it's like, oh, I don't want to do Beachbody on demand, or I don't want to do Shakeology, like make sure you yourself are committed to it every day, right? Because it's really hard to like sell something that you're not behind. So like kind of like what Jen said, like I've been drinking Shakeology for 8 years. 8 years, you guys. And 8 years. Every day for 8 years, except when it made me sick with Grayson. But like that's a freaking long time. 8 years. And I'm the same way. Like before I found Beachbody, I was like, okay, what can I get super cheap from Walmart that's going to give me results and give me muscles and like be something quick? And I never stuck with any of those things, but like it's helped. And I think that's the big thing, is like sharing how it's helped you and just like time you've used it. Like sharing, what is it? Sharing, I guess it's sharing your story. That's what sells versus like all the other stuff. Okay. So hosting a challenge group. Back to your goals. And then let us know if you think of the other one, or did you think of it?
I haven't thought of it, no.
Okay. So hosting a challenge group and like planning that out, because that it takes a little bit of time to like plan out what you're going to do for your challenge group and like start inviting to it and really focus on like the next 2 weeks, like whenever you're going to run it, like the 2 weeks before it, like focus on just inviting and talking about your journey and your progress and what you're doing for those 2 weeks and doing that. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Dale. I'm glad to see you're home at a decent time.
Yeah, I got done early today.
Oh, that's good.
But I leave in like 4 or 5 days, so.
Oh, where are you going?
South Dakota. Going on a windmill farm.
One day.
Oh, dear God.
Don't
Okay.
leave.
Come here.
Go to daddy.
Guess we shouldn't have said that out loud. See ya.
Good night.
One day, Jen. One day he won't have to leave. Just keep.
I'm waiting for that
2020.
day. I'm waiting for that day.
It will happen.
2020, it's over.
2020. There you go. Okay. Jen, how was your month?
I am super proud of myself because I finally went live and I talked about me and I talked about my business. I had people like that I wouldn't have ever dreamed of asking me about the business or Shakeology. Like I was getting phone calls from people like, what is this stuff? Oh, I should do that. So I was super proud of myself for doing that because I think I had over 500 views and it got out there. So I just need to keep doing that.
Nice. And what did you share? Like when you say you shared what you're doing, like what did you share? Just like your story?
I shared just a little bit. It was just like, you know, a few years ago, I would never have thought of doing this. Just like tiny tidbits, nothing serious or heart-wrenching. And then I had just talked that this business lets me stay at home with the kids. Like I don't have to worry about finding daycare for them. What Shakeology does. I went into depth with that.
With what it's done for you?
No, just what it is. And I shared with them what it did for Dale. So he has really good progress pics of just, I think, 2 months. And he's lost I think he went back, but he lost 20, 25 pounds. And it just, yeah, I talked more about that. And then the upcoming program that I was doing, Ultimate Portion Fix. Yeah.
Cool.
So, yay.
So what do you feel like you not struggled with, but want to focus on this month that you could have done better with March?
Probably inviting.
Okay.
I could have did that better because I definitely slacked off. And that sounds funny because I went diamond, but I definitely slacked off with inviting because I always have a quota. I do it every day regardless of the time. But there was just a couple of days that really got away from me. So.
And that, I feel like that's life, you know?
Yep.
Okay,
And that's what I told myself. I was like, don't let this be a habit. Just tomorrow's a new day. So.
Okay, so what are your goals for April? I cannot believe it's April.
I know. Owen turns 11 on Thursday.
That's crazy.
Yes. My goal for April is 5 new coaches to make $250 a week. And I absolutely need to do more personal development. Because the 5 minutes here and there that I have of quiet time is not enough.
Right. And you're still doing the Rachel Hollis stuff too. Like that counts as like, it counts as like leadership, business, personal development. There's 2 different types of personal development. So
well, hers is only once a month. So there's like a week where I have really good personal development, and then the rest of the month is kind of like hit and miss.
Okay. So
Yeah.
figuring out like what's gonna like what like is it gonna be reading or is it gonna be like audio or like podcasts or books? Like what is gonna be something that you can do like that's more than like 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
I know too, and I don't know if any of you guys do this, but listening to personal development while you're working out. Something you guys can think of if you struggle with getting.
When I go for runs, that's what I do.
You could do that with like even listening, like if you're doing the workouts.
For that, I need music, and usually not nice music.
Oh.
Because I like lifting heavy weights, especially now that I'm back to lift 4. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it caught me off guard that the 21 Day Fix real time has no music. I'm like, I'm already in this though, so I am not going to pause it or whatever because I did it like as it went live.
Oh.
And I was like, I am not going. I'm not stepping away. I didn't take any phone calls, like nothing.
Nice. That's awesome. I liked it. I liked that it was like similar, but it was a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wonder if people who've never done the 21 Day Fix find the jokes annoying. Like she goes back, I mean, Cat's in it and Cupcake and like some of your favorites from the nurse ones.
Cupcake.
So I just wonder if some of the people find like, they're like, oh my gosh, do I have to go back and watch this to get the jokes, or like, are they going to stop? I love
it. Better than Tony Horton jokes. So. Yeah.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. I used to always mute his workouts. He has good workouts, but I could never just listen to him for a half hour. Anyone have any questions about anything that you want to go over? I know, Jen, you wanted to do like genealogy stuff, but let's schedule like a one-on-one call and we can kind of like go through that.
Well, now that my last week, like, was switching back and forth so much, I got a better idea of it. Now I know what I'm doing.
Okay. Let me know if you have any more questions, but we should still do a one-on-one since you've hit them and we can figure out next things. But yeah, let's take a picture if no one has any other questions. I'm gonna filter it. Okay. Beautiful. And then also Wednesday, I didn't say this, but Wednesday I'm gonna do a new coach live training in Freedom Tribe again. So if you guys have new coaches, you can like take them in that. I'm doing that like twice a month, every other week. So it's gonna be a lot of the same stuff I talked about last week, but I'm just gonna like make sure that's all they hear is like the same thing on repeat. Simple, simple, simple. So that will be next week, Wednesday, and then info group next week, and I'll post a link for that. and you guys can start inviting whenever you want to that. But we'll probably do a 1 hour like hot seat or something, like we can call it something cool for that. So whoever wants to be a part of that, you can let me know, and I'll probably post about it in Freedom Tribe too. So sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay. I will see you guys next week.
Night.
Bye.